Islets is a metrovania style platform fighting game, currently free from the Epic Games Store until the 4th of April 2024. You play Eiko? I'm going to say Eiko, who's a mouse, who's determined to be a hero and reunite 5 islands that were held together by magnets. You're going to do that by running through monster infested platforms, learning skills, killing bosses, the standard platform fighting games. You're also going to run into Snoop, a fellow but delusional mouse that takes credit for everything you do. At one point, you even save him from being sacrificed, and I don't know why. The graphics do make this one stand out from the rest. They're a charming mix of cartoon style characters against painted backdrops, with lots of nice animation touches. Eiko's eyes grow larger and darker as he attacks. Grass sways back and forth as you run through it. I wasn't sure about the cutesy look at the beginning, but the attention to those sort of small details really brought me around. The music is a bit of a mix between cute melodic tunes that fit the cartoony style, more sinister tunes that actually fit the environment of danger that you're in, and pretty frenetic combat music that ramps up as bosses lose health. All of it works really well. I found myself pausing between watching YouTube videos, which is what I do when I play games, just to hear the music a little bit. The gameplay doesn't let the visuals or the audio down either. It's pretty simple. You've got a sword and a limited number of arrows, and you've got to traverse through screens across 5 islands, reactivating these old magnets. Save points are scattered throughout the areas, and there's a few teleporters per area, allowing you to jump about to any other teleporters you've found so far. Save points set your respawn point, and they restore health and your arrows. Plus there's an upgrade that gives teleporters that ability too. There's plenty of save points, and I never found myself having to retread too much ground when I died. As is typical with Metrovanias, there's areas that you can't get to on all of the maps until you unlock extra abilities. This means progression is actually quite linear. Because no area is actually closed behind you as you progress, it doesn't feel that linear though. It feels a much more free experience. You can jump around all over the place. Plus, the islands aren't that large that backtracking to older areas is too much effort. And the map you can access is detailed enough that you can see all the paths that you haven't yet taken, all the areas that have yet to be opened up. It makes going back and finding those places where you need to use those new abilities pretty easy. You also have upgrades that are scattered in hard to reach areas around the map, and they give you bonuses to loads of different things. Attacking capabilities, gives you more damage on weapons and arrows and that sort of thing. You can check out the ones that you've got from the stats menu, which also gives you indications of how much of the area you've completed, how much of the game you've finished. The upgrades are pretty small increments. It's only like +1 to damage and health at a time, but they do start to add up. When killing enemies with 2 hits instead of 3 can actually help quite a lot. That's not the only way to get upgrades though. There is a kind of a hub area called Sky City that you get access to via an airship, which gives you access to a bunch of shops and new islands. These new islands are locked behind boss fights that you do in your airplane, which I'll talk about in a bit. You can also upgrade your ship with items found within the levels, like gears, and you also need money, which you gain by killing creatures, to buy extra upgrades. All creatures respawn if you leave and return to an area, so I guess you could farm them. You don't get much from them though, but you could farm them. And stuff is really expensive. When you're getting 1 or 2 coins per monster killed and you need 800 or 900 to do an upgrade, that's a lot of creatures to kill. Outside of the horrible Snoop, there's quite a lot of other NPCs that are actually pretty likeable. You even have a mailbox, so they do email you stuff. It's kind of nice. Traversal in the game, once you get a double jump, is very fluid and really feels great. I enjoyed just getting through areas. Stringing together a series of jumps and grappling was actually really satisfying to me. I don't consider myself particularly good at these games. I'm okay, but that kind of feeling of fluidity made me feel pretty decent at this one. The way the abilities are introduced helped as well here. You get a basic, these are the buttons to do this thing, but then you instantly need to put it into action a few times in a row, which was a good way of teaching me how to use them. Combat is straightforward. You only have a single melee attack and arrows for ranged, and a dash. And that's it, you got no other weapon choices, there's no talent trees that I found. The standard enemies you get on all the screens are reasonably easy to deal with once you learn their simple attacks, unless you try and take things a bit too quickly. But if you want to, you can just completely avoid them if you just want to get somewhere. The bosses are where the combat really shines though. These were pitched perfectly for me difficulty wise. It took me a few attempts to learn their attack patterns and then a few more to get things right, and they never got frustrating for me. I think that means they're probably reasonably easy for a Metroidvania. Each one had very different mechanics, and as I said, were a real highlight of the game. In Sky City, the bosses I mentioned before that actually guard the islands, they're completely different. They're bullet hells that you fight with your airship. And for one of them, you don't even get to shoot back. You kind of have to survive until it eventually kills itself with a boomerang. This was a really nice welcome change. Adds just an extra little bit of interest in the main boss fights. I've played for about 6 hours so far, and as far as the stats are saying, I'm about halfway through the game. So, you know, maybe it's a 12-hour game, maybe it's a bit longer. And it's one that I want to keep on playing. It's a lot of fun so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the bosses, and all I really want to see in this game is for Snoop to get his just desserts. If you like Metroidvanias at all, this is a definite recommend for me. If you find that those games are a little bit tough, then I completely agree with you. This one is pitched a bit more forgiving, and I think will be worth a try to see if it fits into your difficulty range too. It's a very fun, charming game. I recommend giving this one a try. While it's free, I'd recommend it if it wasn't free. Okay, that's all for me for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.